Hello guys, greetings from Placements Key. This is Pradyumna, one of the co-founders of Placements Key. Now I'll be continuing the lecture series on the TCS NQT slot 2, which is memory based. I've already covered like 5 lectures on, I guess like 4 on the slot 1, and now this is the third lecture series on slot 2. Okay, please do watch the videos if you have not watched them yet. Yeah, I'll be continuing from question number 14. With what value should the highest quantity in data be replaced so that the median becomes equal, mean and median become equal, and then we are supposed to say that what has to be here, the highest quantity among all. What is the highest quantity among all? That is, with 65 should be replaced with what value so that the mean and median become equal. So first let's find the median. Okay, let's first find the median. Let's see, how do we find the median? We know median is what? The middlemost observation. Yeah, median is the middlemost observation. Yeah, but please remember, when you have odd number of observations, let's say when you have 1 2 3, okay, median will be the middle term, the exact middle term. Okay, but if you have, okay, this is when odd number of observations are there. Okay, but when you have even number of observations, let's say you have 1 2 3 4, okay, when you have even number of observations, median will be what? The average of the two middle terms, which is 2 plus 3 by 2, which is 2.5. Is it clear? So when we have odd terms, you have exactly one middle term and that becomes a median. But when we have even number of terms, then you have two middle terms. So the median will be the average of the two middle terms. Okay, please remember. And the prerequisite of all is it has to be arranged in either ascending order or descending order. Okay, that will be the first step. Okay, for computing median, first the given series has to be arranged in either ascending or descending. See, both the examples that I've taken are arranged in ascending order. Yeah, small to big. So first that has to be done. Only after that we'll have to find the middlemost term. Okay, this will be the first step and this will be the second step while computing the median. I hope this is clear for everyone. So now let's take the given series. Okay, so what's the first step? As I told, so first to compute the median, we'll have to arrange them in the ascending order or descending. So let me go with the ascending order. Okay, so what's the smallest of all here? It is 14. Yeah, so 14 comes first and 14 is done. Then we have what? Then we have 18, the next smallest one. So we have 18. Then we have, what is the next smallest one? 26. Then what is the next smallest one? It is 32. Then we have 35. Then we have 38. Then we have 52. And then we have 65. Yeah, so we have arranged this in ascending order. Yeah, that is done. The step 1 is done. Now what is the next step? See whether we have odd number of terms or even number of terms. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. We have even number of terms. As I told, when we have even number of terms, you have two middle terms. So check it here. We have two middle terms here. Why so? See here, you have three terms here and you have three terms here. So you don't have exactly one middle term, you have two middle terms. So what will be the median now? What is the median? As I told earlier, when we have two middle terms, the median will be the average of the two middle terms, which is 32 plus 35 by 2. So which is 67 by 2. So the median is what? 33.5. Okay, so the median is computed. Now what are we told? We are told that mean and median should be equal. Yeah, so therefore mean should also be equal to 33.5. Okay, so we know what is mean. Mean is what? The sum of observations. The sum of observations divided by number of observations is equal to the mean. Yeah, the basic formula for mean is what? The sum of observations by number of observations. So sum is what? Sum of all these observations divided by number of observations. We have 8 observations. So what is the sum of the 8 observations supposed to be? 33.5 into 8. Yeah, 33.5 into 8. So let's compute that. 8 5 is 40, 8 3 is 24, so 28, 8 3 is 24, 26. So the answer is 268. Okay, therefore the sum of the observations, all the 8 observations, is supposed to be 268, so that the mean will also be equal to 33.5. Okay, now what are we told? We are told that when we have the same terms, you don't get the mean as 33.5. Okay, so what are we supposed to do? We are expected to replace 65. We are supposed to replace 65 with some value x. Okay, so what shall we do for that? So first let's find the sum of the observations. Let's find the sum of 7 observations. Okay, so I'll write that here. Let's compute the sum of 7 observations. Okay, and then x. Okay, because that has to be replaced. 65 has to be replaced, right? So instead of 65 I'm taking it as x, so this sum has to be 268, isn't it? I hope this concept is clear. We know that 65 has to be replaced, therefore I'm first summing up the remaining 7 observations which are supposed to be the same, and then to that if we add x you should get the value of 268, so that the mean becomes 33.5. okay, so let's first compute the sum of the remaining observations. Okay, so if you look at this here, okay, see, you need not have to really like take the calculator for this. You can group terms in such a way that you can find the sum easily. Okay, so let's look at this. So which terms can we group? So just check it here. We have um, we have a 26 and 14. Okay, 26 and 14 is 40. Okay, then we have what, 52 and 18. 52 and 18 gives us 70. Okay, 70. See, grouping terms always helps. Okay, then we have 32 and 38. 32 and 38 is what, it is also 70, and then only one lone pair is remaining, which is 35. Okay, this is what we have. Okay, so if we add all of this, what do we get? 70, 70, 140. 140 plus 40 is 180. 180 plus 35 is 215. Okay, so what did we get? We have got, so what is this? Is the sum of the 7 observations here. This is the sum of the 7 observations here. We know that sum of 7 observations 215 plus the x should be equal to 268, so that the mean is 33.5. so what is x? X is 268 minus 215. 268 minus 215, so what is the value that we get? 350. So x is supposed to be 53. Yeah, so x is supposed to be 53, so that the mean of the observations is equal to the median of the observations. Still, see, the median still doesn't change. Why? See here, instead of 65 you get 53. Yeah, see, still the median is what? It's the same thing. Yeah, it is still 33.5. Okay, therefore 65 has to be replaced with 53, so that median is 33.5 and mean is also 33.5. I hope this question is clear for everyone. Please pause the video and revise the video once to understand it better. Yeah, let's move on to the next question. A work is assigned to 6 men and 12 women and they can complete it in 3 days. Okay, so there are 6 men and then there are 12 women. They can complete the work in what, 3 days. It is also observed that together they can do 7 times as much work a man and woman can do. So what did they say? Work done by 6 men and 12 women. Okay, this work is equal to what? 7 times the work done by a man and woman. Yeah, so what does that mean? It is equivalent of 7 men and 7 women working, it seems. Okay, let me repeat that. It was also observed that together they can do 7 times as much work a man and woman can do. Man and woman can do what? How much work? W and sorry, M and W, right? M and W. So what are they saying? This they told that this is similar. This is equivalent of 7 men and 7 women working. Yeah, this is what is given. Now, in how many days would 14 women have done the work? Okay, so what shall we do? Let me first assume that M is the work done by one man in 1 day. Okay, so this is the work done. Let me also write that work done by one man in 1 day. Okay, similarly let me take W as work done by one woman, yeah, in 1 day. Okay, now if 6 men and 12 women are working for 3 days, the entire work is getting over. See, if W is a work done by one man in 1 day, so 6 men do 6 units of work. Yeah, 6 units of work, and then 12 women will do how many units of work? 12 W units of work, because one woman can do W units. These are in units. Okay, units, and this is also in units. So one woman can do W units of work and one man can do 1 unit of M units of work. So 6 men can do 6m units of work, 12 women can do 12 units, 12 W units of work. Okay, now they have done the work for 3 days. Okay, so what will be the work done by them then? Okay, we'll have to multiply this with 3 into 3. Yeah, this gives us the total work. So what is the total work? It is 18m plus 36W units. So this is the total work, isn't it? Okay. Now similarly, now let's try to equalize it. Now we have found out the total work. Okay, total work. I hope this is clear. Total work is what? The work done by 6 men and 12 women in 3 days. That's what we have figured out. Yeah, this is the total work. Now what did they say? We are given one more condition. 6 men and 12 women's work is equal to 7 men and 7 women work. Yeah, so we know that 6 men can do 6m units of work, 12 women can do 12W units of work in a day, and 7 men can do 7m units of work in a day and 7W. Yeah, so I'm substituting the same thing. So what do we get? 6m plus 12W is equal to 7m plus 7W. So what do we get? 12W minus, yeah, so let me transpose this. So we get 5W is equal to 12 minus 7W gives you 5W, 7m minus 6m gives you m. Therefore one man's work is equivalent of 5 women's work. Okay, so a man is 5 times as efficient as a woman. Okay, fine. So now what are we supposed to do? In how many days would, okay, now we have got some relation. Okay, so let me compute the total work in terms of this. Okay, let's replace a man's work with 5 women's work. So what do we get here? Okay, we get 18 women. Yeah, so we get 18 women. So 18 men, right? I'm sorry, 18 men. One man's work is 5 women's work. So I'm just writing 5W units. Okay, plus 36W. So what do we get? It is 18 into 5 is 90. 90 plus 36 is what? 90 plus 36 is 126W. Therefore, total work is equivalent of 126 women. Okay, so 126 women can do the total work. Okay, in a day. Yeah, so now we have got this. Now what are we supposed to find? Let's say if 14 women are there, how many days will they take? We know the total work is 126W. Okay, 14 women are there, so they'll do 14W units of work in a day. Therefore how many days will it take? W cancel, 14 ones, 14 what? 14 nines, 126, right? Because 14 tens is 140, 14 nines 126. Therefore they will have done, they will have worked for 9 days to finish the total work. Okay, therefore what is the answer here? It is D. Okay, please try to understand. First we have found out the work done. Okay, this is, we have found out the total work done. Okay, then we are given a relation here. Yeah, from there we have figured out that if a man can do m units of, one man's work is equal to 5W or 5 women's work. Okay, one man's work is equivalent of 5 women's work, and then we are substituting the same thing in the total work so that you get everything in terms of women's work. Now we know that 14 women are working, so one woman can do W units in a day, so 14 women can do 14 W units in a day. Okay, so 14 W units, so we are dividing it so that we get the number of days they take to finish the total work of 126 W units. Okay, yeah, so I've explained it slowly so that you understand. Okay, in exams, we can directly do this. Okay, you will hardly take like what, 30 seconds to 45 seconds to compute this question. Yeah, this is a standard question, so I request you guys to practice like 4 to 5 questions definitely. Yeah, now a sales representative's commission is 6% on all sales up to rupees 15,000. So whatever sales is there, so till 15,000 the total commission will be 6%, and then 5% on all sales exceeding this. Let me take an example. Let's say the total sales is 20,000. Okay, we know that till 15,000 the sales is what? So the sales commission is what? It is 6% of 15,000. Yeah, 6% of 15,000. What is 6% on 15,000? 1% is how much? It is 150. So 6% will be how much? It is 900. Yeah, so therefore till 15,000 the sales commission will be 6% of 15,000, that is 900. Yeah, now after 15,000, let's say now after 15,000, so we have how much amount after 15,000? We have what? We have 5,000 rupees, right? 20,000 minus 50,000. So for the remaining 5,000, it will be 5%. That's what they told, right? 5% on all sales exceeding this. So 5,000 is the sales exceeding 15,000. So it will be 5% of 5,000. So what is it? It is, we know, 1%. So 10% is how much? 500. So 5% will be 250. You got it right with an example. If the sales is 2000, on the first 15,000, the sales commission, the sales will be what? Sales commission is 6% of the sales. Whereas for the remaining 5,000, that is the amount after 15,000, for the remaining 5,000 rupees, it is 5% of the total sales. Okay. This is how we usually compute what? The sales commission. Okay. Now let's see, let's take this particular question. Let's see what happens. Okay. Now what did they say? He remits rupees 47,350 to his company after deducting his commission. What were the total sales? Okay, so let's assume that the total sales is X. Let's assume that the total sales is rupees X. Okay, now we know that for the first 15,000 rupees, the sales commission is what? The percentage commission is what? It is 6% of the sales. Yeah, and for the amount greater than 15,000, the remaining amount, it will be 5% of sales. Yeah. Now let's see. We know that up to rupees 15,000, what is commission? We have already seen. Let's say, yeah, up to rupees 15,000, you get 6% of the sales. So 6% of 15,000. Yeah, we have already computed this earlier. Yeah, you get 150 into 6, that is 900. Okay, so this is the commission that he receives for the sales till 15,000. Okay, now how much is remaining? Out of X, 15,000 is already accounted for here. Yeah, 15,000 is already gone. Therefore, how much amount is remaining? How much sales are remaining? It is X minus 15,000. Yeah, because the total sales is X, so the remaining amount is X minus 15,000. So for X minus 15,000, the commission is what? 5% of this remaining sales. So what is it? It is 5% of, I'm writing it here, it is 5% of X minus 15,000. Okay, so what is the value here? You know, 5% of X is 0.05X. Yeah, minus, what is 5% of 15,000? You know, 10% of 15,000 is 1500, so 5% will be 750. Okay, so this is the commission that he receives for the amount which is greater than 15,000. Okay, now what is the total commission? Total commission is 900 plus this value. So let me write it here. So 900 plus 0.05x, so that is total. Okay, I'm writing it as total minus 750. So what is it? What is the equivalent of it? You know, 900 minus 750 is 150. Yeah, so you get it as 150 plus 0.05x. So what is this? This is the total commission that he receives. Okay, now it's also given that he is actually remitting 47,750 to his company after deducting his commission. You know that the total sales is X. From there he's subtracting his commission. He's subtracting his commission, and then he's returning back. He's returning 47,350 to the company. Yeah. So therefore, I'll take it as X minus, what is the commission? We have already computed. The commission is 150 plus 0.05x. Yeah. So this is the commission. This is given as 47,350. So what is it that we get here? We get X minus 0.05x is 0.95x. Yeah, which is equal to 47,350 plus 150 gives you 47,500. So we get let's multiply this with 100 each. Yeah, it is into 100, this also into 100 to eliminate the decimal. Okay, so what do we get? So we get 95x is equal to 47,500 into 100. So what is X that we get? We know 95 ones, or yeah, you can go ahead if you're not sure of 95. Still it's easy, but still I'll just take it as 19 5s 95, 19 what? 19 2s 38, and then you get 95, 19 5s 95. You have 5 ones, 5 5s. Okay, so 500 into 100, so you get the total sales as 50,000. Yeah, we have a 500, 100 is remaining here into 100. So 500 into 100, which is 50,000. Therefore, the total sale should have been 50,000. Yeah, in that for the first 15,000, he's got the commission of 6% of 15,000, and for the remaining 35,000 rupees, he would have got 5% of the 35,000. Okay, together he gets so much commission. I hope this is clear for everyone. Please again revise or like just go back and then check the video again if you have not got it right. Yeah, I'm trying to explain as slow as possible. Yeah, let's move on to the next question. The sales in multiples of 100 of three brands A, B, C of car from a showroom during 4 consecutive years. Yeah, so we have 2012, 2013, 14, 15, and blues are the sales of A, and oranges are the sales of B, and then this color is the sales of C. Okay. Now for the 4 consecutive years it's been given. Now in which year is the sale of A and B? So sale of A and B is what it is given as. It's supposed to be 125% of that of C, of that of C. So effectively what is it? 25 5 25 25 400. So if you transpose this, what do we get? We get 4 times of A plus B should be equal to 5 times of C. Okay, so this is what. So we are supposed to check for which year this condition is satisfied. Okay. Now how do you find the value? See, it's very simple. Yeah, so you'll just take the horizontal line. Yeah, so what is the value here? It is 20 here. Yeah, what is the value here? It is, what is the sales? It is 30. And then what are the sales? Yeah, it is in multiples of hundreds. Okay, 30, 100, 20, 100, and then it is 40, 100. Yeah, so on and so forth. So let me also write the values. Okay, so what is it? This is 30, and then this is 60, and then this is 50. For this is 20, and then this is 40, and this is 60. Similarly, this is what, 30, and then this is 20, and then this is what, 5. Okay, these are the values that we have. They have sales. Now what are we supposed to find? We'll have to see for which year this condition is satisfied. In which year is the sale of A and B together is 125% as that of C. So that is A plus B is equal to 125% of that of C. So we get 4 times of A plus B should be equal to 5C. So let's see in which year it satisfies. Let's take for the first year, 2012. What is A plus B? So you know A is blue, and then B is orange. So you get 20 plus 30, which is 50. Then what is 4 times of A plus B? 4 into 50 is 200. What is C? It is 40. What is 5C? 5 into 40, 200. Are these two same? Yes, they are same. Yeah, so 4 times of A plus B is equal to 5 times of C. Therefore, straight away, luckily, we can say that the answer is 2012. Anyways, let's also compute for the rest for your understanding. Okay, A plus B for the year 2013. So what is it? 30 plus 60 is 90. Now what is 4 times of 90? 4 times of A plus B, it is 360. Now we know C value is 50. 5C is 250. So is 250 equivalent to, is 360 equal to 250? No. Therefore this condition, the given condition, is not satisfied. Let's check for the year 2014 as well. You have 20 plus 40. It is 60. A plus B. Yeah, 20 plus 40, 60. 4 times of 60, it is 240. And then C value is how much? C value is 60. Let's say 5 into 60, 5C, it is 300. So is 300 equal to 240? No. So for this year also this is not satisfied. Yeah, for this year. Let's finally compute for the year 2015 as well. Okay, definitely it doesn't satisfy, because you know the value of the sales in the sales of C in the year 2015 is very less. Therefore that definitely doesn't satisfy. Therefore you can go ahead with the option D, which is 2012. This is a very easy question. Yeah, the student should definitely get it right. Yeah, in less than 40 seconds or so. Okay, the list price of an item, the list price or the market price or the tag price, all are same. It was kept 40% above what the shopkeeper had paid to the manufacturer. So what would the shopkeeper had paid to the manufacturer? It is supposed to be the cost price to the shopkeeper. Yeah, the shopkeeper purchased it for so much from the manufacturer. Therefore, it is supposed to be the cost price. Okay, so let me take the cost price. Let me assume the cost price to be 100x. Okay, now what are they saying? They are saying that the market price is kept 40% above it. Okay, 40% above it. So let me take the mark price here, 40% above 100x. So what is it? It is 140x. Okay, on selling the item for the profit of 8.64%. On selling the item, a profit of 8.64% was earned after allowing two successive discounts. The first one was 20%, and okay, now there is a mark price. Okay, so first there is a discount of 20% given. Okay, you've got some value. Again on this some percentage of discount was given. Okay, so finally you get the selling price, which is what, 8.64% profit is earned. So what would have been the selling price? You know, it is 8 points. The profit would be 8.64 into 100x, which is what, 8.64 by 100 into 100x. Yeah, let me write it here. What I'm saying is profit is what, 8.64 by 100 of 100x. Yeah. So what do we get x? I mean, sorry, we have an x. 100 cancel, you get 8.64x. So profit is 8.64x. Therefore, the selling price should have been 108.64x. Okay, now the question is very simple. See, from market price, okay, 20% discount is given. What is 20% discount? What is 10%? 10% is 14x. What is 20%? It is 28x. So from 140x, 28x discount is given. So what do we get effectively? We get 112x. Therefore, here this intermediate value is 112x. Again, on 112x, x% discount is given, so that you get 108.64x. So we are supposed to find how much percent discount is it. Very simple. From 112, okay, how much percentage discount is given, so that you get 108.64x. That is all that we are supposed to find. Okay, or find the percentage decrease from this value to this value. Okay, so how do we compute this? First find the difference, the actual difference. So what is the actual difference? 112 minus 108 is 4. 4 minus 0.64, you get 3.36x. So the absolute difference divided by, from where is it decreasing? From 112x it is decreasing. 112x into 100 should give you the percentage decrease from 112 to get the selling price. That is the discount, right? That is supposed to be the discount. Okay, so let's multiply this with 100. So you get 336x divided by 112x. X cancel, 112 ones, 112 threes. Clearly there is supposed to be a discount of 3% from here, so that you get this value. I hope this is clear. So first we have taken the cost price, then we have found out the selling price. Okay, selling price is what, 8.64% profit is there, so the selling price is supposed to be 108.64. Similarly, we are going back from mark price. Mark price is 140x. On that, first a discount of 20% is given, so the intermediate value is 112x. On that again x% is given, so we are just calculating the percentage decrease from 112x to 108.64x, so that you get the discount, which is 3%. So option D is the right answer for this question. I hope this is clear for everyone. Okay, the last question in this set, in this lecture. Okay, so the table below represents the percentage marks of the students X, Y, and Z. Okay, so these are the students. Okay, and then these are the subjects. Yeah, so what are the subjects? Yeah, you have A, B, C, D of a paper. So this is what, so these are the subjects. A, B, C, D are subjects. Okay, let me write it here. These are the subjects. These are the subjects, and what are these? These are the students. X, Y, Z are the students. Okay, now what have they told? All these are in percentage. Okay, 78%, 85%, 72%. Yeah, everything is in percentage. Okay, fine. Now what else is given? Respective weightages are given. Okay, X, Y, Z in the 4 components. So A, B, C, D are the 4 components. Okay, or the components are the subjects. You can take it as components. Yeah, 4 components. You have it, right? Let's say you have, first you have the first test, and then you have the revision test and all of that. Yeah, you have 4 components. There are 4 components that are evaluated for the 3 students. Okay, now whose respective weightages are 4, 3, 2, and 1. So the respective weightages, so this is 4, 3, 2, and 1. Therefore the component A has got more weightage. Right, in internals the weightage is very less when compared to the externals. Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, so this component has more weightage. This component has reasonably like decent weightage, but definitely less than that of component A. Therefore the student, if he is logical enough, he has to concentrate more on this, yeah, in this component than this component. Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, okay, I hope you got it, right? What do we mean by weightage and all of that? Now, what is the ratio of the average percentage of X in A and B? Okay, average percentage, that is weighted average. because we have weights, right? Weighted average of X in A and B, in the subjects, in the components A and B, divided by the weighted average of Y and Z in components C and D. This is what we are supposed to find. We are supposed to find the ratio. Now what is the weighted average of X in A and B? So first let's take it of X in A and B. So what is it? It is 78% into 4, because the weightage is 4, right? So 78 into 4 plus 85 into 3 divided by the total weightage. Yeah, 4 plus 3, that is 7. This is called weighted average, right? See, we are supposed to find the weighted average of X in A and B. Weighted average of X in A and B. So you can't directly take the average as 78 plus 85 by 2. That is incorrect, because they have different weights. Therefore 78 into 4 plus 85 into 3 divided by 4 plus 3. So this is what we are supposed to find. Yeah. So what is 78 into 4? 85 into 3. Yeah. 78 into 4 is what? 84. 320 minus, yeah, we have a 312 plus you have 85 into 3. 8 3 is 240 plus 15. So 255 divided by 7. So what is the value that you get? Yeah, you get 500 and what? You get 567 divided by 7. So you get the value as 81. Therefore, the weighted average of X in A and B is 81%. Is it clear? Next, now we are supposed to find the weighted average of Y and Z in C and D. Okay, Y and Z in C and D. So Y in C, Y in D, then we have Z in C, then we have Z in D, and finally we'll have to add the total weightages. Okay, so how shall we find? First let's take Y. Y is what? 64. Y in C, 64 into 2 plus 73 into 1. Okay, plus now let's take Z's. 81 into 2 plus 75 into 1 divided by the total weightages. See, we have counted the C's weightage. We've taken C twice, right? Yeah, the component C twice, once for Y and once for Z. Similarly, we have taken component D twice, once for Y, once for Z. So we'll have to add each of this twice. So see, effectively we are adding this, that's it. Okay, this the component weightage. So 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1, so which is 2 plus 1 3, 2 plus 1 3, so you get 6. Okay, so this is what we are supposed to compute. Okay, so what is it? 64 plus 2 is 128. You have an on-screen calculator, you can always go ahead with that, or these are simple numbers, you can always compute. Yeah, don't please depend on calculators for everything. 81 into 2 162, 75 into 175 divided by 6. Okay, so what is the value that you get here? Okay, so can we group something? Okay, so 128 plus 162. 62 plus 28 is how much? 60 plus 20, 80. So you get 90. You get 290. You get a 290 plus 75. 75 is 150 minus 2. So 148. So you have plus 148. So what is the value? 148, 290. So it is 300 plus 138. So it is 438 by 6. Okay. So you get the value as 438 by 6. 6167 is 42. And then 18, 6 3 is 18. So you've got the answer as 73%. Okay, so what is the ratio now? It is 81% is to 73%. That is 81 is to 73. See, if you're not comfortable, calculating it manually, or if you feel you are taking more time, you can always use the on-screen calculator, because TCS NQT provides an on-screen calculator. Yeah, I would rather prefer going ahead with the manual calculation because it's not so difficult. I hope the concept is clear what weighted average is. Yeah, let me repeat for this alone. Weighted average of Y and Z and C and D. So Y in C plus Y in D. So 64 into 2 plus 73 into 1. Similarly for Z, 81 into 2 plus 75 into 1 divided by, see, we should add all the components weightages. Yeah, 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1, you get 6. So if you compute this, you get the weighted average as 73%. So the answer is 81 is to 73. I hope this is clear. Okay, so we just have one more lecture on the slot 2. Yeah, slot 2 on 24th October. I'll be uploading it as soon as possible. Yeah, please do watch all the videos in the series. Yeah, thank you everyone.